listen up. I know it's been a while, but I'm back with the Broncos 7-round mock draft. If you're wondering why it's the Broncos, well, they're my favorite team, of course. So just to give y'all a quick update on the schedule, I plan on doing this one and another Broncos 7-round mock before the official draft on April 29th. And then I'm trying to release a couple more first round mock drafts before the draft as well. And then I'm trying to do some positional rankings for each position. We'll see if that comes out if I have a lot of time, as finals are coming up here in college. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is a no trade 7-round mock draft for the Broncos. Let me know what you think, and I'll be back with another video shortly. I want to remind you that Jesus is King. I highly suggest you give your life to him. And if you have any questions about that, comment them down below. Myself or someone else can help you out with getting started on the path with Jesus. Without further ado, though, let's jump into it. So this first one is going to be a bit controversial. I did this on the Mock Drafts Simulator by the Draft Network, and it's Justin Fields, quarterback out of Ohio State. Now, Justin Fields is my number 2 quarterback. He's my number 2 quarterback behind Trevor Lawrence. He's ahead of Zach Wilson for me. I followed Justin Fields' career since he was a senior in high school, following the Elite 11 and all of that other stuff. And yeah, if we could grab him, I would be absolutely ecstatic. Now, I understand that we'll have to probably trade up to 4, 5, 6, 7 in order to grab him if he starts to fall. But that's okay with me. Y'all know that I'm a Drew Lock supporter, but if we could grab Justin Fields, I would be super confident in that as well. Having Drew Lock and Justin Fields on the same team, I would love that. Two of my favorite quarterback prospects of all time on the same team since I've started doing draft evals. And if we got Justin Fields on the Broncos, I would be super ecstatic, even if we have to trade up for him. But here, he fell to us. And his stats were 423 completions on 618 attempts. He had a 68.4 completion percentage. He threw for 5,701 yards. He averaged 9.2 yards. He threw 67 touchdowns, threw 9 interceptions. He was sacked 56 times, and he had a passer rating of 178.8. And then with our second round pick, we're going to select Jabril Cox, linebacker out of LSU. He transferred from North Dakota State, and I think he's grown on me. He is definitely one of the top linebackers in this draft from all the film that I personally watched. But yeah, if you look at that, 58 total tackles, 37 solo tackles, 21 assist tackles, 5 passes defended, 1 sack, 9 interceptions, and 254 yards, with 3 of those interceptions going for touchdowns. Now, our linebacker core does need some upgrades. I like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, but he's not going to be here in the second round. We would have to select him in the first. But Jabril Cox, I like him in the second round. We have A.J. Johnson, who is an older linebacker. We have Josie Jewell, who I do like, but definitely needs someone else, not Josie Jewell, playing in there. And then we have Justin Strnad from last year's draft. He was a 5th-round pick. But if Jabril Cox could come in, and he would be a solid linebacker for us. Obviously, Strnad still has stuff to prove. But eventually, A.J. Johnson's getting up there. He's getting older. I don't know if do we keep him after his contract expires? Maybe, maybe not. But Jabril Cox is going to be a solid linebacker in the NFL. With our third pick, it's Brady Christensen, the offensive tackle out of BYU. And this is just insurance for Juwan James. He hasn't played much for us in these past 2 seasons. Hopefully, he can and does play a lot for us this season, but who knows? And this is just insurance. Have him sit on the bench, and then if he needs to go in for Juwan James, he can. I think we lost Elijah Wilkinson in free agency. I'm going to check this one right quick. Elijah Wilkinson. Yeah, we lost him to the Bears. And then he would be a good backup tackle. And then, hey, if Jawan James doesn't pan out, Jawan James gets hurt, Bowles gets hurt, you can just plug Christensen in there, and I think he will fill in just fine. With our 4th pick, I have us selecting Trill Williams, cornerback out of Syracuse. With us adding Kyle Fuller and Ronald Darby, our cornerback need has kind of gone away. To me, I see Bryce Callahan in the slot, Kyle Fuller, and Ronald Darby playing, with Michael Ojemudia subbed in there if we need a 4th corner. And then we have Isang Bassi as depth. But the thing is how long is Kyle Fuller going to be here? We signed him to a 1-year deal, so after this season, he could walk. Ronald Darby's going to be here for 3 years. Bryce Callahan, I do think he does need another contract after this season. Will we re-sign him? Hopefully. But if we don't re-sign Kyle Fuller and Bryce Callahan, let's just say worst comes to worst, we don't re-sign him, we would have Isang Bassi, Michael Ojemudia, and Ronald Darby. Obviously, Ronald Darby could be the starter. I like Michael Ojemudia, and I would feel confident with him playing on the other outside. But Isang Bassi playing slot, that kind of worries me a bit. So I feel like we just need to get some corner depth, and Trill Williams out of Syracuse has grown on me. Obviously, they have Andre Cisco up there in Syracuse, but Trill Williams, I think, was an underrated part, or I guess not really underrated. Obviously, he's going in the 4th, but I feel like he's kind of an under-the-radar type of guy, corner for this class, and if we could pick him up in the 4th, I'd be ecstatic. He had 93 tackles, 65 solo, 28 assists, 6 passes defended, 3 forced fumbles, 4 interceptions for 134 yards, and he took one of those back for a touchdown. And Trill Williams is just one of those guys. If he's available at pick number 114 on the 3rd day of the draft, I would put my fist down and I'd be like, hey, listen, this guy right here is a difference maker. And that's how much I like Trill Williams. Moving on to our 5th round pick. This one I might be a little bit biased, but it's Chuba Hubbard out of Oklahoma State. So I personally do go to Oklahoma State, and I've seen him play in person, and let me tell you, he is a difference maker. I saw him this year where he struggled, and last year where he led all of college football in rushing yards. He's a difference maker. He dealt this season a little bit with injuries, not the greatest offensive line, and he does have a little bit of a fumbling concern, but let me tell you, this guy is the real deal here. On 585 attempts, he rushed for 3,459 yards. He averaged 5.9 yards per carry for 33 touchdowns, and his longest one was 92. This guy's the real deal. We let go of Philip Lindsay. I don't know how much longer Royce Freeman's going to be in here because this is his last year under contract with us, I believe. So will we sign him? Maybe not. We signed Mike Boone, but I mean, I don't really see that as our long-term number 2 back. Chuba Hubbard is the real deal. Melvin Gordon's contract even expires after this year, I believe, and Chuba Hubbard, to me, is the real deal, and if we could snag him here in the 5th round, this is an absolute steal. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this 6th round pick is going to be the controversial pick. Let me just explain myself before y'all attack me. So in the 6th round, it's Sherice Smith, a wide receiver out of South Carolina. Now you might be thinking, why would the Broncos go ahead and pick up a wide receiver? We've got Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Deshaun Hamilton, Tyree Cleveland, and Deontay Spencer. Well, first off, I'm knocking off Deontay Spencer because he is our kick returner, punt returner. So I'm not counting him as a receiver. Tyree Cleveland, he did make a splash at the end of last season, but he's going to need to prove himself if we bring in Sherice Smith. And also, Deshaun Hamilton, there's trade rumors. So maybe we trade him for, like, a 4th round pick maybe? 4th, 5th round pick for Deshaun Hamilton. So that leaves us with Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, KJ Hamler, and possibly Tyree Cleveland. So if we do trade him away, Sherice Smith is one of the guys I like in the later rounds out of South Carolina. He had 174 receptions for 2,204 yards. He averaged 12.7 yards, and he scored 13 touchdowns with his longest play being 75 yards. Now we get into the 7th round where we have 3 7th-round picks. The first one at 237, we select Malcolm Koentz, edge rusher out of Buffalo. Now, Von Miller, I hope we extend him after this season, so he's a Bronco for life. We got Bradley Chubb, but Jeremiah Tachu, I believe, is left. I do think we need some more depth edge rushers, and in the 7th round, Malcolm here out of Buffalo, he put up some decent stats. 109 tackles, 61 solo tackles, 84 assist tackles. He defended 3 passes. He had 18 sacks, and he forced 4 fumbles. And will he be an elite edge rusher? Maybe, maybe not. Obviously, the odds are against him being drafted in the 7th round, but I wouldn't hate this pickup for depth in the 7th round. With our second 7th round pick, I have us picking up another cornerback, DJ Daniel out of Georgia. Obviously, we know Eric Stokes and Tyson Campbell out of Georgia are getting the most attention for the cornerbacks out of Georgia, but DJ Daniel isn't terrible. He had 51 total tackles, 44 solo tackles, 7 assist tackles, and 9 passes defended. Obviously, he didn't pick off any passes, but you know, he's an under the radar type of corner. Now, there's going to be some competition, obviously, at corner. Will he make the roster? Maybe, maybe not. He could make practice squad, but obviously, you want to bring in depth, you want to bring in competition, and DJ Daniel is some competition for Isang Bassi, Michael Ojemudia even, and yeah. And then with our third 7th round pick, I have another cornerback, and it's Rashod Wild Goose Jr. out of Wisconsin. Now that's a pretty cool name, if I do say so. But once again, more depth corners. He had 57 total tackles, 44 solo tackles, 13 assist tackles, 14 passes defended, 1 interception, and 11 yards at Wisconsin. And you know, cornerback isn't our biggest need anymore right now, but when you look at all the guys that are on 1-year deals, Kyle Fuller, I think Bryce Callahan's on the last year of his deal. We need some depth, and these guys might make the roster, they might not, but it's always good to bring in some competition for camp. And honestly, we're gonna sign a bunch of undrafted free agents, and with 3 7th-round picks, if you don't want them escaping and having the option to sign with other teams, obviously you're going to want to pick them up in the 7th. So yeah, here's my 7th round Broncos mock draft. Broncos fans, let me know what you think. Obviously, I'm a Broncos fan too, so I personally like this, as obviously I made it. But if you disagree with some picks, let me know in the comment section. Let me know why, and we can discuss. Let's make it respectful, and we can maybe you give me some players that I should start watching some film on that maybe I'm not so high on that you are, and we can have a discussion. But without further ado, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.